Thank you for tuning in to Androna Talks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Androna Talks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to Androna Talks Radio. So I thought I'd touch on this subject because I'm seeing it all over YouTube, and I have been hearing about it for a while. And I'm just trying to understand exactly, the intrigue and the fascination around this Storm Area 51 issue. Now, I know a lot of people are fascinated and interested in what's going on in some of these government complexes. But does this have anything to do with extraterrestrial, or is this just, an anarchist event? So that's something I do want to talk about, and maybe let's go through the primary, lore, and I say lore as in L-U-R-E, of why people are being drawn to this in mass. And so I'm going to start, and especially, I feel like we have a right to talk about this, since this is a topic that I am talking about 24/7, is extraterrestrials. And so thousands of people are listening to disinformation, hearsay, and stories from the 1950s instead of listening to what's actually going on right now. So do they want to know the truth, or is this something else? So with this conversation, I'm going to bring in Chris. Chris usually talks with me regarding the yellow vests, but I thought Chris has some interesting insights as well, and we're going to talk about, working with something that has true value to it, where, you're actually going to, the issues are going on in the yellow vest. We're going to do a contrast of that as well as to this event of storming Area 51. So without further delay, here's Chris.
Hi, Jess. How are you doing today?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining me today. And yeah, we've had a little bit of a discussion regarding this. I think the reason, there's a couple of reasons why I want to talk about this. One, this is the area that we discuss every day. We talk about extraterrestrials. We talk about things that have been going on the planet. And some people could say, well, we're not a scientific group. Yeah, we're not using all the little technology that they use in doing paranormal investigations. And supposedly those are the experts. Even though I did paranormal investigations for many years, I see that a lot of this is incorrect, and I've proven it over and over again. So the ones that are trying to prove that they're scientists have been disproved on many occasions. And so it's a question of what is science, what is proof, what are we looking for, what's the intention here. And I'm gonna let you, we looked at a few different videos, and I want you to give us your insight first, Chris, and then we can go from there.
All right. So of course, when I heard about that story, for me, I couldn't believe it, because I thought it was just a joke, right? Until looking deeper into it, I realized that there were millions of people that obviously from all around the world, since it's one of the hottest topic there is, Area 51 has been in history for so long, that suddenly some guy decided that it would be a good thing to storm Area 51. And I guess, I thought everybody was saying that they would go, but, like they say, yeah, I would go, but then eventually when it's time to do it, they might not, until surprise that it seems that We discovered that there is definitely an event going on the 20th of September. There was a whole organization going on with festival and food trucks and all kind of stuff. And they were waiting thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Now, there's a few things here. You can see it from different angles. So on one layer, of course, it's Facebook stuff that this new generation here, they just want to have a lot of clicks, and of course it's you need to find a subject that have a lot of followers or people, or at least an intrigue, and then have as much click as possible. And of course, add to that, you need to do something completely stupid, so people will look at your videos, right? So of course that event is definitely something that will attract a lot of followers. One of these videos we're watching, the guy has like 3 million views. So I mean, are they talking about very good information? Obviously not. They're not talking about real data with what's going on, but more about the sensational event of that supposedly storming Area 51. So it's all about clicks and making money and have followers and be the one that has the last information. But it's all bullshit. Because at the end of the day, they don't understand how dangerous it is. They're like literally children playing with some information, thinking that, it's a game, right? It is not a game. It's extremely serious what's going on here.
Well, it's a military facility.
That's one.
Bottom line, it's military. Whether you go to United States, South America, anywhere in the world, raiding a military facility is probably not the brightest thing to do unless you're actually, in a war scenario and you're working with the military yourself. So I don't know. I don't understand. First of all, that's the first point. It doesn't make any sense. It sounds like they turn everything into this like weird joke, and which is fine if you're, if you want to go up to a police station and hold up a gun, see what happens. Yeah. I mean, it's that stupid. But I'm not saying that the people that are following this, I think they're almost like mesmerized in some weird way. Now, which made me start looking at this guy, Maddie. And I'm like, well, who is Maddie? I mean, he looks like, it looks to me that he's an event planner. But because he did some kind of event or trying to do some kind of event in Bahamas or something. I don't know if it didn't work out or whatever. And there's some people that are really good event planners, like Coachella or something, and they bring these concerts in and do all sorts of stuff. And there are people want to go to an event. They want entertainment. They want a place to go or something that sort of resembles a cause, but it's sort of a place where they can hang out and meet new people, which I understand that too. I mean, it's like a social thing. Sure. So, and people do this all over the world. I mean, they have, I don't know, there's some kind of thing that happens in Belgium all the time. There's some kind of big band event. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Tomorrowland.
And, maybe someone might say, hey, that's bringing us into this great, wonderful world. And I guess if people are doing some kind of, pharmaceutical drugs and stuff or whatever, I don't know, whatever they're doing. And I mean, people have been doing this kind of stuff for years. Since Woodstock, this has been a phenomenon. However, it seems like a merging of the anarchists and those that are sort of mocking the whole thing of the aliens, saying, well, we don't really believe Area 51 is real. And, so they're so dead on to prove that there's nothing there or whatever. Or they know that the government's hiding technology, which of course they would be. What government doesn't? I mean, a lot of this stuff's right in our face. We understand that. But it's like I said, still, it's like, well, what is actually going on here? The thing that fascinates me is that there's so many people getting involved. It's like trending. And when I see that, it feels like it's part of a mind control effort, to get everyone to just go in like a bunch of sheep and then wait for something bad to happen. So before the event even started, there are these two young guys from the Netherlands, of all things, and they actually just got arrested for going through, and they had, some other equipment, and, they were kind of trying to see what they could find. It was probably, fun. Maybe I think some of these people are doing it to get more YouTube exposure, which, yeah, people are doing some dangerous things to get, their 15 seconds of fame. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, some people, if they're not doing this, maybe they'll be doing something else that's kind of risky, and, I don't know. I mean, trying to break the law in one way or another, but
it's almost become the new Woodstock. Woodstock was the event everybody talked about. They were there. I was, it was like something really incredible to be part of. And it seems it's that same type of event, different here. Of course, they imagine that, okay, if 2 or 3 people will cross that line in Area 51, obviously they're going to be arrested. But if, I don't know, 100,000 of them do it, well, it would, then what?
Then they become magical, and suddenly they can disappear like unicorns across the line. Do they think that they can't be seen or something, and they have their magic powers? I mean, I am being sarcastic. You know why I'm being sarcastic is because when the ETs are right in front of them, they deny it. The same ones will deny it, but yet they're proclaiming that they can cross this border and not be seen when there's cameras everywhere.
And it's more like, if they are seen, what are these guards going to do? There will be hundreds of, thousands and thousands of people, so they cannot arrest everyone. So at the end of the day, they think that by forcing their way in, they will maybe have access to what's going on in there. The thing is, they have no freaking idea of the technology that's available on those grounds. These are not only humans' technology; there are other type of technology there that can really harm beings.
So if you suspect, here's the logical thinking: if you suspect that this facility has advanced tech, then why are you thinking that you can figure out all the ins and outs of crossing that line, that you're not going to be detected or that you're going to get away with it? I mean, they can send scalar and all sorts of technology at you from across the world, and you're going to cross the border. You think that even people driving up there are not detected? Even if you don't cross the line, they know exactly who you are. You're profiled. You're identified. It's just really obvious.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is not helping the cause of truthers. If anything, it's counterproductive. It's turning the people who want the real truth about alien activity. We know that the government doesn't want to show this information. We understand that. And I can see the frustration that people have in that. But it's like going into the very, very dangerous place for no reason. It's turning this expression of wanting to understand and recognize that we are part of a galactic experience, and it's turning it into just straight anarchy or for some other cause, to be contrary to the government.
Yeah, it's a circus. It has nothing to do with looking for the truth.
It's twisting what it could potentially do, which I think is part of the agenda, is to push things overboard so that the government starts cracking down on those that want to talk about extraterrestrials.
Yeah, discredit.
So then it becomes, then those that are interested in ETs are linked with anarchists, or not just anarchists, but those that are trying to go into military break into military facilities.
Well, you said that there was an analogy with France, and in the beginning I was like, what would it be? For a split second.
Well, there's a cause, right?
But
when you stand up for something, right, There should be there should be something that's heartfelt and has a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm trying very hard to find what the deep purpose behind this would be.
Well,
this is not the way that it should be done.
I think there are many of them, but the one you just mentioned here remind me a lot of what's going on in France. Remember, in France, they wanted to change the law and crack down on people and remove their freedom and free speech and everything. So you cannot just do that overnight. You need to create a situation. That situation was the tax on everything, and reach a point where people would just not be able to deal with it anymore. Then they pushed the Yellow Vest movement. Everybody woke up and put their yellow vest and suddenly, stormed the streets. They needed to be able to control to their advantage that whole movement. That's why they used the black blocs. That's why they used to create a lot of violence against the police with all the media, which is pretty much the government propaganda arm. That's always used by government. They're always well positioned to see exactly on hundreds of thousands of people there is only one fight somewhere and the camera is there. That's very strange. So they can literally discredit the yellow vest, and once that is done, create all these laws that they had in their drawers.
The end game.
Yeah, and then that's it. Anti-freedom, anti-this, anti-that, and now they cannot say, "Hey, we just do that to." Now they said we do that to protect the democracy and protect the French people. So you see how perverted it is. Now here, with this situation here, like what you said, it's exactly right. One of the reasons might be exactly to discredit all the truth seeker and those who are exposing really what's going on, talking about ETs. Because of course, if something like that happened, after that, it really is going to discredit, hugely, whoever is talking about aliens and bringing really data and information.
Yeah, and I have talked to people that have worked in Area 51, since there are many people that are in the military, and there are quite a few people that have been employed. It's not a secret, it's not a mystery. The facility's there, and military is military, whether you're in one location or another. Mm. And that the ET technology could be in any number of these facilities. Doesn't mean it's just this one in particular. Only this one is, has the history going back to the 1940s, 50s, whenever that crash and all that stuff that was found, and some of the disclosure came out regarding it. And then they stopped the disclosure because people just started going crazy over everything.
Yeah.
They started revealing the information. Part of the reason is stuff like this is the reason why they can't just say, hey, yes, we do have aliens on the planet. Yeah, come clean with it. We know that. It's very obvious. Some things happening on the Earth that just don't make any sense. They don't add up. But are all the aliens on the planet are in that one location in the world? That's absurd.
And only there.
And only there.
There only.
Right. And to be honest with you, the people that I've met that have worked there, they're not there anymore. They've moved. So try to find that. We have underground systems all over the country. There's underground systems all over the world. There's all sorts of things happening, and not in the places where you think it would be. And probably a lot of the same people that are truth seekers, supposedly, that think they know everything. And it's really funny because they're like, oh, well, these people went through the back door and they should have known that was the front entrance. And they're saying all this stuff like as if everyone's, well, they should have gotten Google Maps correct. And they're talking about this like really weird stuff. And it's like, guys, it's probably you're sitting there talking to one when you're driving down, when you're going, just traveling somewhere, one's probably approached you and had a conversation with you. And
yeah.
They wouldn't know if they were standing right in front of them. But they're acting like they know everything. But I think the thing that gets me irritated is to me it's an agenda. It's like the gun control agenda. It's like the martial law agenda. They're trying to create something that's going to stop the ability for many people from communicating and discussing these topics freely. And that's the part that's going to be a problem for them, not for me or anyone else.
No, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, we deserve to have our rights, and if they're going to go blatantly into this, in creating any problems, then, well, I mean, that's that. Look what happened. These two kids got arrested. I bet they thought it was a joke. You know why they thought it was a joke? Because Maddie made it a joke, and all these other people made it a joke, and turned it into some kind of love fest, or whatever they're imagining it to be. And then there's other people from other countries coming over and thinking that, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, it's pretty much, if this one went and did one step behind the line, well, we're going to have more views and to be famous too. We're going to go maybe 100 feet into the area with, they all, I don't know how
famous and in jail. That's a great combination.
Now, it says in the 3D laws, it's 6 months of jail. But I have another concern here. That isn't the 3D level. But we know there is other stuff happening around these areas. And those non-humans, that are handling and controlling these sites, because it's not only controlled by only human military. The human military is working with others that definitely might look like human, but are not. And those one have different agendas.
Right. All right. So that's scenario number 2.
Exactly.
Is this actually some agenda of an ET group trying to gather and do a huge soul capture?
Absolutely. I personally feel 100%.
Soul harvesting. That also crossed my mind. What did Maddie magically have that drew all these people into this whole excitement thing? And then all of a sudden, Maddie, who conveniently drops the bomb, right? Then goes, and then now he's going to Las Vegas, right? I mean, this is their scenario. This is not mine. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of game this is. It's excitement of having all these people follow you and whatever. But what if mind-controlled people are creating this whole scenario drawn in by a group of entities, which is, from my perspective, is really what's going on.
Yeah.
And this is scenario number 2, I say, because you don't believe scenario number 1 that you're going to get arrested. How can I talk to you about ETs if you're still figuring out whether or not you're going to get arrested for going on to government property? Yeah. So it's almost like if you're not reasonable anyhow in the first place. It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyhow, yes, it could be a massive soul harvesting if you're sleeping outside the facility. And there's ETs everywhere. But it could be a specific group that's calling people out. I know that they do this contact in the desert thing. Mm-hmm. And that also, I've dealt with a few people that, went out one way, came back another. Not the same people. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if that's important for you, you might get your trip off planet, but not to the location you want to go. You have to really, you can't play with, if you're going to play with fire, well, that's the repercussions of it. My responsibility is to say it, let people know whether they listen or not is completely up to them. I understand that, a lot of the MyLabs have been working on this type of stuff for a long time. They've taken people at young ages. There's implants, there's mind control, there's all sorts of stuff, there's MK stuff. And super soldier triggers. And we've had plenty of discussions with Peter about this. And we even asked Peter what would happen if people go into Area 51. And he says, well, they have technology, they can do things. They can, mind wipe. They can, do all sorts of things. And unfortunately, we got the corporations who also love MyLabbing. And this is a great opportunity to get a huge bunch of people coming from all different parts of the world in one location. And it's a great harvesting for them. Yeah,
especially in this, these last months, we I guess we have talked about that in different reports, but obviously with the different battles going on right here, all these groups they know that eventually they don't have a lot of time left on this planet, since a lot of humans are fighting back for their freedom and disentangling from any of those agendas. So we discovered many times in different sessions that they started that process of hijacking as many souls as possible. Now souls come out, what do they put back in the body? Looks human, looks the same person, but it's not. That's another way to pretty much, I know there is an agenda very strong over there that's going on. So that one, in one event, they can have, I don't know how many hundreds of people is going to be there, or thousands, but it's going to be a huge group. They're going to be there for 2 weeks, supposedly. So, I mean, for me, it was directly my alarm inside start to ring when I start to think about that, because I know that's the agenda. And I know it's their free will. They can go. Is it really their free will? Because obviously, like you said, something happened, some technology, something must have happened that suddenly out of nowhere, one dude that nobody knows about suddenly has 2 million people answering in a matter of 2-3 days.
Yeah. We know that's not natural.
No, that's not natural.
Yeah.
So therefore, is there really free will involved here? I don't know.
No.
So at the end of the day, yes, they think...
It sounds like the massive handler is calling in all his minions. Absolutely. Or underlings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I personally, I mean, at this point, it's not so much... I know there is no free will involved here. There's a lot of mind control and other non-natural technology that has been used here. So that's not going to happen. That's all harvesting. I can tell you that for a fact. It's not going to fucking happen.
I mean, I don't think... I don't gain anything. I don't lose anything. People go, they're going to go. I don't think it's really even my responsibility to tell people. No. But I do anyhow, even though, some people get angry. But I'd rather tell you, and you don't like the way it turns out, and then it turns out that you get to hold on to your soul a little bit longer rather than whatever. I do care. I mean, I'm not like... I do care enough that I'm going to say it. But I would say, I've been telling people, direct your energy in another way. You're much more powerful. You don't have to be playing the pawn. You want to do a gathering somewhere, then do a gathering. There's lots of safer gatherings, although, people need to think about protecting themselves and also not making themselves vulnerable, having their souls step out for too long and doing all experimental stuff. But it's good to be around other people. It's a fun experience. But if you think that this is not a joke, and there's a reason why, I'm guessing the reason why Maddie pulled out is probably because he was warned. And so, or he's got some other agenda, or there's another agenda. Or
that was his role from the beginning, who knows? So, I mean, yes, you're right. I mean, there is no gain or, we don't get anything or lose anything if these people go there, but it's just, I don't know. I'm thinking, of course, of those going there, innocent beings that might go there, some innocent, some maybe not as much. But I'm thinking more of all these non-human groups that think they can come here and they consider the planet like a Walmart. They can come and take whatever they want. Planet Earth belongs to human. They have the guardianship of this planet. And these groups, I mean, I'm tired of these groups coming in here and literally, taking whatever they want and destroying it if you don't agree with them. And I mean, harming so many innocent people. This is enough.
I mean, we don't need the government to validate whether or not what we believe.
Nope.
If we have memories and experiences with extraterrestrials, there's no one that can take that away.
No.
If you're looking for Tesla technology or advanced reversed engineered technology, join the military. Join the military. And you can see, and I'm not recruiting for anybody. I'm not a part of the military, but I'm just saying, if you want to get in close and see what's going on, or be a part of a scientific community, you probably can get access to a lot of stuff that's already there. Yeah. But even if you saw some of the stuff, you wouldn't even know how it worked. You wouldn't know what it did. It doesn't even make sense. There are people like Tesla and some others that have a lot of information on anti-gravity technology.
Sure.
There's some of the stuff has been around, and it is available. Knowledge is available regarding the 1950s and some of the Nazi technology and the De Glock and the Bell, time travel. There's a lot of stuff that's already there.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I say what we consider here as the high tech, suppose it was so much more evolved than in the past. It's such baloney, because what we consider as the highest technology, on this planet nowadays is archaic compared to what some of these groups, hidden or Monarch, Mobius, whatever, the type of technology they have.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The biggest problem that we're having right now is young people that were used by Monarch that have been accessing our timelines. Everyone's blaming on the secret space program, and they're blaming it, some of those soldiers went back and started meddling with time. Yes, that's a problem. And whatever that experimental agenda was isn't right. And it's not right also the way so many souls got fractured in the process of them finding these super soldiers. But the bigger problem is what Monarch is doing, and literally turning our universe inside out with all of their haphazard behaviors, and that's because they're soulless. Some of them are hybrids. Some of them are most of them are soulless, and they're young, and they don't care. They don't care whether they live or die and who goes with them. And so why is it that we don't need any more people with that attitude that can be hybridized or causing more problems? That's one of the reasons why the advanced tech, and this is not my rule, I know this is a galactic intention to not have this very, very advanced technology in the wrong hands. And I talked to someone about this before who's from, like a starseed, who had the ability and knowledge to create very advanced tech. And he said the first thing that they wanted is weapons. No matter what you present, it always ends up becoming weapons or something that's destructive to the planet. And that's one of the primary reasons why this information is not available. And I'm not saying it's all in Area 51. It is underneath our noses in so many different places right now.
Yeah, definitely. And there is something else you said, that just, hit me now while you were talking, is it's not so you have different, you need to understand, sorry. The listener needs to understand that those non-humans, aliens groups, right? And it can be also the Monarch and Mobius and all these guys. They have a plan, and their plan is not just, for example, in this case, to harvest maybe souls in one shot and replace these souls with something else in the body, and then that's it. They got what they want. Those beings, if that happened, will eventually, those people that are there, will eventually go back home in their communities. What are they bringing with them? Mm-hmm. What's in that body? What technology do they have, anchored in them, implanted? I don't know. And what is the goal? What is the agenda on that level? So it's not so much, what, if they go over there, so be it, their free will. They should have known better, whatever. No, I see that. I can feel there's something behind it. And this is why other people can be armed that have nothing to do with that. And this is why, I mean, it's way more serious than just it's a big fat joke. People gonna go there, they're gonna see, you know, green beings and maybe not, and then they're gonna have a party and go home. No, there's something way more serious about that. And I don't know. Do I have facts and data and information really of what's going on? No. But I would rather that we talk about that today than to discover the truth afterwards and have to fix the problem.
There are some people that, even if you tell them don't put your hand in the fire, they're going to do it.
Yeah, they will.
They just need to do that. And I guess that is an experience that they might need to go through.
Sure.
But I just wanted everyone to be clear that I'm not supporting this and not encouraging this. And and the ones that are there was another group. It was, I think, a father and son that I don't know if they were on their motorcycles, but they would travel. And one of their they were YouTubers, and a lot of YouTubers, you know, are kind of getting into all different types of things. Some of it is healthy, and some of it's not so healthy. And probably 20 years from now, people are going to look at them and say, geez, I remember when they did this and that, and, you know, it's how ridiculous or whatever. But right now, it's almost like, you know, new toys, you know, something new, and people are not thinking about the parameters of what they're doing or how it affects their future, their reputation, or whatever, and or whether they're going to end up in prison, you know. So as apparently this father-son, I think, if I get the story straight, father-son was videotaping themselves, and this was brought up another, like, awareness that, you know, you got a million people that are extremely fascinated with the idea that you're going up to a military facility just because it says it's Area 51. So they're like, you know, all freaked out and like, wow, you know, look at how magical they are because they're standing there by this military facility. And so apparently something happened, and all of a sudden this guy dropped off of YouTube and they didn't hear from him at all. And someone went to find out what happened to this guy, and he was just sort of like talking in circles a bit. I mean, it sounds like he was mind-controlled, hijacked, something went wrong. And he wasn't quite right after that, but it was just enough to get the ball rolling. And as these ETs have said, you know, or the ones that have the agenda, and they're coming through different means, whether it's through regressions or other things and works that I've done, is they have told me it's too late. The ball is already rolling. There's nothing you can do about it. And they have come right out and said that to me. So they used that man and his father, who were, you know, just exploring or whatever, to, you know, they took him. They did, you know, obviously pulled him out of the body or did something with him. But it was just enough to get the ball rolling, to pique the interest. And then you have someone who's a, you know, an event planner, essentially. You know, it's like a wedding planner, or, you know, someone that just knows how to put on big events, you know, whether they're small concerts or large concerts. I mean, that's what some people do for a living. So, you know, they know how to create the hype. They know how to create the excitement of something. Mm-hmm. You know, they can have something where it's, hey, look at, you know, we're going to have this toy donkey fest or something, and, you know, and everyone will be like, yeah, you know, let's go out there. You know what I mean? It's a place. It's an excitement. They know how to rev up that excitement, but also there's definitely, you know, other kinds of energy that goes along with that. We know that there's definitely an agenda, a deeper agenda, which even that body is not fully aware of what they're doing, but they have the ability to rally in millions of people.
Absolutely. And there is something else that just hit me, Jess. I mean, you're amazing when you said earlier we're going to do a parallel between Yellow Vest and this, because you're absolutely right. that started with, okay, there was the event of the father and the son, right? Just enough to give enough interest. And then that Maddie guy, someone that I never heard of him before, and obviously out of nowhere, event organizer that in 2 days, 3 days, excite enough people with this festival or whatever, stormed the Area 51 event, got 3 million people. Well, same thing happened in France. One video made by Jacqueline Moreau, which was supposedly a lady that, was removing ectoplasm around people. She was like supposedly a psychic, but in the same time working kind of with the government. Made a video that she had like 50 subscribers, but her video literally had millions and millions of views in 24 hours. And that started the Yellow Vest. After that, she slowly disappeared. And that's literally the matches that, put the fire literally, and after that, that's it. It's on.
What was in that video that stirred up the interest with the Yellow Vest?
It's a lady that was saying, I cannot take this anymore because the government is literally, while they ask us to pay more and more money, we barely make a living. And here they are having parties, and they have the food when they have like a political party, and they have so much food. And when they barely eat anything, and I witness that they throw everything in the bin after, they don't give anything, not even to the guard that's there for 10 hours, paid €6 an hour, that's hungry. They don't even give him anything. These people don't care about you. And that's how she started. Mm-hmm. And boom, and that was it. And that's the lady that literally started the Yellow Vest movement. So from the beginning, we knew something was off with her. That it was one of these events to trigger it's like everything is ready, the wood, everything is full of oil and gas. All you have to do is send the match, and boom, that's it.
Yeah. Well, as we say, someone drops the bomb. Well, with this Maddie guy, he drops the bomb, and then he's not going to show up on top of it all. Which exactly. But there are people that do that. They create a frenzy. You have a group of friends or whatever, and there's one that comes in and says something. Oh, this one said that about you. That one said this about you. They drop the bomb, they leave, and then before you know it, everyone's fighting amongst each other. Yeah. And it's sort of that kind of thing where you feel like, well, who's you're trying to sort through it, and everybody's angry, and so now let's take a look at this thing with France. So, do you think is the Yellow Vest movement worthy or not worthy of attention? It's as far as I'm concerned, it has a greater cause. It was created. What it did was it put a little bit of a kink in the whole plans for the EU. The EU is trying to roll out a one world government, right, or universal government, and they've already started with the euros, the monetary system, but they're trying to gain more control outside of the nation. So now that these other nations are playing with the politics within each individual nation, and it was more of a serious political situation as opposed to a party celebration demanding on seeing some kind of records of extraterrestrial information, which is probably accessible on the internet somewhere right now. Right now, it's probably there.
I mean, you don't need to go that far. If you're a little smart, you go into internet and you can find paintings from Rembrandt, or I don't know, all these painters from the 15th and 14th and 16th centuries and earlier, and where you have painting and you see UFOs on there. You can go in caves, prehistoric caves, and you see UFOs on there. I mean, obviously, always have been part of human history. It's just government has done a fantastic job to make sure that,
intimidate people.
Now, I want to say something. Gouvernement in French is, the translation is govern. Ment, it's the action to lie. Ment, it's come from the word mentir. Gouvernement, it's the government, it's to govern through lies. That's really what it means. And governmental, it means to govern the mental. It's so, I mean, What do you expect from the
I
government?
heard that it also means in Latin to control the mind.
Yeah, mental,
Yeah.
the mind. Yeah,
Right.
le mental in French is the mind. Yeah.
But in English, it sounds like you're governing or watching over. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a deeper meaning there. But we know this. I mean, we know this. And I'm not saying that the government's wrong for lying about it, but it's because the people's reactions, they're so off the hook. I mean, in 1940s and 50s, when they started talking about this stuff, and then they had this big radio event with Orson Welles and War of the Worlds. And people started killing themselves or killing each other in South America or some crazy stuff. And so what happens when we say, oh yeah, well, those ETs approached the White House, we get Valiant Thor, and then the ETs, flying around the White House after World War II. Let's make sure that people don't believe that, because they'll do what? They'll freak out. If people wouldn't freak out, there wouldn't be a problem. And we can actually discuss what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. And instead, I mean, I go to talk on a show somewhere on YouTube, or if I'm a guest, and if the person interviewing me doesn't really agree with what I'm saying, this is part of the reason why I don't go publicly, because I know the stuff I'm saying is fringe. But if I go out there, the general public says the most vicious, like crazy, aggressive stuff, like as if I'm their enemy because I'm talking about this, but yet they'll go to the movie theater and listen and watch the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's another kind of mind control where you have these people that are like going to some kind of weird frenzy because you're talking about ETs. Mm-hmm. And they've also created this environment where it's a mockery, because someone believes that there's extraterrestrials, when the mockery is they're so mind controlled. Exactly. But it's created a hostile environment. It's being done because of the way people have responded to everything. If they responded normal, if they just said, I want to understand what's going on, I'm not going to freak out, I'm not going to go kill my neighbors or do something, ridiculous, then there could be a conversation. So in some ways, humanity has created this scenario.
Yeah, but I mean also these governments, we know that most of them are, if not all of them, puppets of darker forces.
They're already taken over, yes.
They're already taken over. So obviously it's not, I mean, it wouldn't be positive for those government and being the puppets of those who really have the true agenda for humans to know that these non-humans have a presence on the planet. Because, of course, everything they do has to be hidden. Humans don't know about it, keep them, busy like, with the 3D reality, movies, television. If we talk about UFOs, he only has to be in sci-fi movies so that if ever someone start talking about life like you do or what we can do, well, they might say, oh yeah, wow, really? You saw that in a movie and now you think it's real? It's another way to discredit people that will talk about the truth. You know what I mean? So they don't have an advantage, this government, to explain really the situation.
They don't want to know the truth.
And
this is not even about the truth. No. I'm convinced.
It's about control.
But storming Area 51 has nothing to do with wanting the truth about whether there's ETs or not.
No.
Or whether or not that there is government documentation or advanced tech. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Well, they think really they're going to open a door eventually and there will be a desk there with all the secrets in a drawer. I mean, seriously? I don't know. Maybe I think differently, but...
There's facilities in mountains, underground mountains.
Oh,
facilities in all different places in plain sight. I mean, I was jokingly saying to somebody, everyone's going to Area 51. Has anyone thought about going to the Denver airport? I mean, don't quote me. I'm not telling anyone to do that. Here again, it's privately owned government international flying. No, you want to do something, you probably get arrested. But yeah, I mean, the people have found things there. You don't even have to find anything there. You see the stuff that they have on the walls. It's pretty clear that there's something going on that's not natural. They have stuff in mountains. They have stuff in underground. They have stuff underwater. This stuff all over the place. And people think you have to go to one location. I mean, it's fun and it's campy. You want to stand there next to the sign that says extraterrestrials. I mean, it's laughable,
I mean, they're sometimes in places when a lot of people go and wouldn't even imagine what they're walking above. They're walking above, like, layers and layers and layers of underground facilities. Just think of an example, Disney World.
Close to where I live is a place called Exeter, New Hampshire. And they have Exeter Days every September. And they talk about UFOs because of the Billy and Barney Hill event where they got abducted. Okay? So they acknowledge that there was an abduction, but on every corner you can buy a blow-up green ET doll, like a little blow-up doll. You can get, your T-shirt that says, I was in Exeter Days, like UFO. And then you go to hear the speakers, right? Some of them are nice. Most of them are there to discredit it. So they have these people that feel like they're experts, scientists, not even scientists, but claim they are, Rhodes scholars. I'm brilliant, listen to me. I know exactly what this is all about, and they know nothing. And you know what? One of them said to me, I think his name is Dolan, or whatever his name is, and he was like, do you know anyone that believes in ETs is mentally insane? I mean, he's saying this stuff to me, and yet he's making millions of dollars off of people out there. And I don't know. I don't know, what's the purpose of this? Why is it that everything that trying to bring forward the information, and yet people will go and listen to these ones that are disclaiming everything, saying it's not true, and actually very derogatory, negative comments. If you heard what some of these people say, like coming right out and telling me that Al Bielek was a lie, and all those guys from the secret space program were liars, and this guy went on and on and on, and I just looked at him. I said, "You're a fraud. You're a complete fraud. Here you are at a UFO event, and there's more than one like this, and they're getting paid by somebody to create an environment of trying to prove that they're intelligent in the first place, and they contradict themselves on every corner. And then on top of it, what they're saying, none of it's true. And so, and then the ones that are trying to be safe because they can barely get through, and they're just sticking with the old stories, like as if the UFO encounters that we've had on the planet completely stopped and nothing really exists after the 1950s or so. It's not true. I mean, it's not even logical. But yet they're doing it anyhow. And so my struggle with all of this is the ones that are supposed to be assisting in the process of bringing disclosure are the very ones who are doing contrary to that. And for what purpose, other than it's part of the agenda, gathering a bunch of people, creating some kind of sub-mind control, and not telling the truth, lying about the truth, so that people disperse. And so then they're further confused about what they believe in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a micmac, as we say in French. Huh? It's a very confused, very complex. It's not as simple as as we think. There are many layers, many different groups have different many agendas, plus all these specific entities. I don't know, Poseidon, Michael, all these ones. They have their own personal agenda. I mean, anyway, they're all in service for themselves.
There's people that are trying to make money.
Yeah.
They're trying to become famous. And I'm not just saying YouTubers. There's others out there. They're writing books.
Yeah. I knew a guy,
that guy, I guess, that talked about John Titor, and then he denied about John Titor. I don't understand what, and everyone's like, oh, we'll listen to anything you say. That one woman who was talking about fairies and everything from Hay House, and then all of a sudden now I'm a Christian and I don't believe any of this stuff. It just creates confusion. It's like, all right, so why don't you give everyone their money back from all your lies and your manipulation and all the money that you made from your fairy and your angel books, and give all your money back.
Yep.
And then I'll believe that you actually converted. Or did you find out that the Christian market can give you more money? Mm-hmm. But nobody ever looks at this type of stuff. I mean, it's so obvious to me. Yeah. And I don't know why. You have to see people just don't change because of moral values. People change because what's hitting their pocket. Exactly. Unfortunately, those are the ones that are on the forefront.
I knew a guy that I went to see his workshop at the time, someone pretty famous, I would say. And I start to become closer to him in some way. And he was making tons of money. And one day I caught him lying, literally flat lying. And I caught him and I confronted him. I said, dude, everything you're saying here, you know that it's completely wrong. It's completely false. And he says, I know. I said, so what are you going to do about it? He says, well, it's too late. That he said that he was too compromised anyway. And at that point, it needed to make money. And that's the only thing he can do. So there is no way to stop it anyway. I was shocked. That was 20 years ago.
That's the attitude, is that they feel that they have a right to mislead the public. I mean, they're they're the glorified snake oil charmers. And as long as nobody calls them to task, they keep on doing it. I mean, I'm not saying anyone's like, there's some people that say things, they're not deliberately trying to mislead. It's what they believe. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that are definitely trying to make money off of the issue of the ETs. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one of those events. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not even just about spirituality or anything. In the 3D corporate world, it's the same, Jess. I'm in the sales, right? I work for companies when they tell you, listen, you're going to talk to a customer that know less than you about what you're going to talk about. So whatever you're going to tell them, anyway, look like an expert. So most of these people out there in spiritual, the most dangerous are what I call experts. Because they are experts in making you believe they're experts. But at the end of the day, they don't know crap or they have an agenda. The thing is, we know more than we think because we have all information in our soul has so much information and history of what's really going on. But I guess, it's part of the control system to give the, humans need to give their power away to someone else pretty much to tell them how things works and what they need to do. And so this is why Yellow Vest, when you ask me, and I jump into Yellow Vest here, but when you asked me earlier, just, do you think the Yellow Vest have like a cause that makes sense here, justified? Yes, they have, absolutely. The problem from the very beginning, I said it. That movement of Yellow Vest has been created and controlled in order for the government and those behind the government to achieve a certain type of legislation of control, a police state, and as long as they are the same way Yellow Vest go confront the police, it's the same way these kids go over there and try to force whatever government property. It doesn't work that way. It is one thing that you are in the street peacefully protesting but that will not literally change that is not, how can I say that? There's a better way to do it. I would pretty much dream that everyone drop their yellow vest, still go in the street without anything yellow. So it is not, they let go completely of the yellow vest label, right? Call them just citizen, humans, brothers and sisters that are in the street, fighting for their sovereignty. And
yeah, I mean, I think the yellow vest is symbolic for sovereignty, from my opinion.
It is symbolic, but what kind of like bothers me in the whole thing is the yellow vest, the whole concept. All the Soros, the Soros Open Society movement, they have sponsored all these revolutions and rebellion. Okay, you have the orange one in Ukraine. I think there was a green one was Tunisia. It said all these movements of supposedly the people rebelling against government or whatever. And when that's happening, something else comes to replace it. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to, the anger of the people, and the fact that in France they said enough is enough now. We want to be treated as citizen, as human. Right. The government is working for us and not the opposite. It's absolutely legit. Absolutely. It's just that right now they're still doing it in a way that's under the control of those they are fighting against.
Yeah, and so when I was saying let's compare, and not to say that there is anything in comparison, but I'm showing the difference of one has a purpose, and in my opinion, one does not. Okay, yeah. So when you wake up and you can't afford to go to work because it costs you more to go to work than to make a living, believe me, that is a cause.
It is
but if you are just going to party and hang out at a government facility, near a government facility, and then planning on breaking through, that is not a cause.
Well, for some of them, I guess they think that they're fighting some government control system lies, whatever. That
trying to push disclosure.
Disclosure. Yes.
Some of them, I do believe that they think it's going to help push disclosure, but I will say that probably is going to do the opposite.
Yes.
The government doesn't like to be played like this.
No.
And we can, we're doing a whole lot more just having the freedom to talk about whatever we want.
Yeah.
And when they shut that down, which I'm not anticipating that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that is the real issue. Whatever this other thing is doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No, it doesn't. But
they don't really care. Like I said, there's other reasons why people, it's like a fest of some sort.
So here we have the situation where we cannot, of course, tell people what to do and not to do, and I don't want to do that anyway. I just, we just explain what the situation is. But will it be possible to work on a level where we can, if there is any type of technology, scalar wave, mind control that's moving these people to go over there? Is there a way we can work, have an intention and pretty much shut down, install, delete whatever technology is used here so people can eventually be themselves? And I mean, we cannot stop people from going there, but there might be another way to maybe remove
send protections and
protections, and what can we do here?
Before we do that, I wanted to bring in one other movement that came in that was pretty powerful, and that was the Standing Rock event.
Oh yeah.
And that also I felt had a purpose, and some people got very hurt, and I want you to take a look at that too. Is they went through Native American property, the government, and they had the pipes going through for oil without, reimbursing them or anything. I mean, that's to me that was interfering with first of all, property rights. The government did something that, I didn't think was right at all. The poor people were trying to figure out why is this happening again. It's multiple things. And a lot of people showed up to support what happened there. But a lot of people got hurt, and a lot of people ended up in jail. And so here's another event that sounded like it was kind of fun. People at first thought they were just going to go there and protest. They had no idea that it would escalate into something quite dangerous, and that is a potential of what could happen out there in Area 51. And it did affect some people's lives. I think some people still might be in jail over that event. And, like I said, and the people that seriously got hurt in France protesting, something, just their freedom of rights. And so, it's wondering to what extent the people are going to go, and it's not so much fun. I imagine these two guys from the Netherlands are not going to be able to come back over here to the United States. And probably the Dutch government doesn't like that kind of publicity.
No.
So you have the problems of having to go home to these issues. And I would say that if there was truly a cause, then you say, well, they kind of put themselves out there to help others. But I think it was more to get attention or to prove that they could do something like this, which it was due to the misinformation of some of these other YouTubers making a mockery of the whole thing and saying this is a fun thing that we can, hey, look, I'm going to put my foot over the line type of issue,
Yeah.
So, what we can do is, it's almost like if people are fully mind controlled and manipulated into doing this, then we're going to ask for protection in some way, that those that have a conscience, that are innocent and really don't know why they're heading out there, and they don't they just want to see the truth or whatever, that they will have some answers that they're looking for as far as what their reason is for being there, and that there'll be some level of protection that as long as they don't go too far, that they will have protection to be able to return home and think about what they're experiencing, and break the mind control, so that they can return and then actually go on a true journey into the truth of what their purpose here in life is, and what they need to understand about our intergalactic experience here on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set an intention for all of those people that are still under the whether they're being guided by Monarch, Mobius, the Tall Grays, anyone, or even some other like MyLab group, government MyLab, Solar Warden, any of them that is drawing them out there. And that we ask that there won't be a mass harvesting. We ask that the people will awaken, and my implants will drop off of them. We're going to ask if anything, we'll turn whatever the intention, even those that don't go out there, but we're thinking about it. We're concerned about maybe thinking that this is going to open something up for disclosure, that if they will awaken before they go out there and think this thing through, have their own epiphanies, realizations, and things that they need before they go out there, and help open up the truth. And those that are still, being pulled in and drawn in unnaturally, we're going to ask to break that power and spell, and help them to, awaken before they get to that point where they get arrested or anything like that, or anything negative happens. And I also ask that those that have persuasion in large mass abilities, that they lose their power from harming, many other lives senselessly. So even for the case of having these major events, I ask that they don't have the power to gather like this ever again. And only those that have a conscience should be trusted with having that kind of ability. So we're going to ask for protection. And I know that, I come off sarcastic and I just get really irritated. I don't understand why things have to be so difficult at times, but I understand that there's powers behind these things. But my true intention is that, I'm not calling anyone stupid. I do know that there are powers out there that are manipulative, highly manipulative. And people don't want to feel like they're being left out or missing out on something. And it's the fear of not having something, or not the fear, but, just feeling like you're left out of some big, exciting thing, that they awaken to that too. So, and let's create this energy where things do open up naturally, but not by force. But the powers that we're not going to give over hundreds, thousands, millions of souls to off-world prison camps by the Greys, or further mind control and other types of soul harvesting, mylabbing. We're going to ask that everybody stays here and actually go through the proper experience that the universe really has for us. And those that want to see extraterrestrials will see them. We'll see them, but in a safe way. Not in a way that's harmful to them or anyone else around them.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you.
I agree.
All right. And so with that said, I guess we kind of said our piece.
Right, yeah, we covered a lot. I'm pretty sure we might have more information later, but at least that's important, what we just said today.
Well, thanks, Chris, and I appreciate your time and your input and everything else that you've done in helping the channel, helping many people understand what's going on in France and how it impacts the rest of the world, and also to provide some interesting insight regarding the Storm Area 51 event. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jess. No, thank you, Jess. Thank you for inviting me, and we will talk very soon. I wish everyone a wonderful evening or day, whatever, the time you're going to listen to this, and things are getting better and better.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.
You have been listening to Androna Talks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Ariel Morocco, and visit her website at www.readingsbyariel.com.